A skinny kid in a torn hoodie sat under a street lamp, holding a cracked cup, snapping at anyone who got too close. Anger was the only thing that kept him safe. People rushed past, not caring, until a black luxury car stopped right in front of him. Two umbrellas opened, and a man and woman stepped out. The woman froze, hand shaking over her mouth. The man went pale. When the man whispered the boy's name, the kid's tough act cracked for a second. The mother dropped to her knees in the rain, sobbing, and the boy's cup slipped from his hand. 5 years of nightmares, searching, and empty rooms, all leading to this unbelievable moment. Their lost son, alive, begging on a cold street. 5 years earlier, their house had been full of noise and warmth. It smelled like fresh bread and lemon cleaner. Their son, Tommy, they called him at first, was the center of everything. He loved dinosaurs, ran everywhere like someone with wings, and had a voice that got the adults to laugh and give him whatever he wanted. Money made life easy for them. The house, the vacations, the latest toys. But their true wealth, they thought, was the small, ordinary things. The bedtime story read wrong on purpose. The scraped knee kissed better. The secret handshake. As Tommy grew, he learned that the world often bent for him. He learned how to use that. He could be sharp with a look. He could cut with a word. By 13, he had a little swagger. He rolled his eyes at charity events, barked orders at people who worked for them, and bragged in ways that felt older than he was. People called him rude. His parents chalked it up to teen stuff. They were busy. Deals, meetings, dinners. Life crept in. They told each other they had time, that he would come back around. No one saw how fast things could break. The city festival changed everything in 1 minute. It was loud and bright and full of people. Exactly the place a kid would want to try being free. He wanted to go by himself, to prove he could handle it. He slipped into the crowd. One moment he was texting, leaning against a vendor booth, the glow of 1,000 phones around him. The next moment someone bumped, music swelled, a costume mask knocked a hat into the air, and he disappeared into a sea of faces. People shouted. Parents held their children close. The festival's lights turned to a blur. By the time the parents realized he wasn't near, he was already gone. The search was immediate and frantic. They called the police and hired private teams. They checked hospitals, shelters, and every camera in the area. They offered reward money. They checked every tip. Days stretched into weeks. The house became empty in the middle. His toys stayed on the floor. His bed stayed made but untouched. People sent prayers and articles, and sometimes useless advice. The cameras turned up nothing. The city is big and messy. Sometimes people disappear without a trace. That reality hit them hard. Grief moved into the rooms like fog. Out on the streets, the kid learned how to survive. He slept in doorways and learned to fake a cough to get handouts. He learned who to trust and who to avoid. He learned to steal a sandwich and run before anyone could shout. He got rude because rudeness was armor. He did not want pity. Pity got you swallowed. If you pushed people away first, you might live. He learned to lie easy. He learned how small things felt like treasure, a warm cup of coffee, a newspaper, the feel of dry socks. He kept his head down, grew hard. That hardness made it easier to forget the name he once had. Months into the search, a random street photo changed everything. A freelance journalist had snapped a crowded market for a small story. One frame showed a boy with a jawline and a look that the parents recognized. It wasn't perfect, but it was close. They kept that printed photo like a talisman. They stared at it, refusing to let hope die. Years later, standing under a rainy streetlight, the father realized the boy in front of him matched the picture. The mother clutched the photo like a lifeline. Getting proof was harder than anyone expected. The boy had no ID. He refused to talk at first. He dressed in rags. The parents tried to approach gently, to take him somewhere warm. He snarled at offers. He called people names. They needed DNA to be sure. That turned into a fight. Another billionaire, an old enemy who'd never forgiven the father for rejecting a deal, caught wind of the case. He worked in a different language, threats. He had men and money to make things messy. He sent lawyers and messages to labs. He wanted to stop the DNA test, to ruin the story, to make it his leverage. The fight over a cheek swab became one more headline the parents didn't want. They pushed through anyway. They hired good lawyers, used private clinics, and kept everything quiet so the boy wouldn't be scared away. It took promises and patience to get the boy to sit in a small room with someone who only wanted to run a brush inside his cheek. He spat. He swore. He tried to run. But finally he sat. The sample was taken. The envelope with the results looked small and completely capable of changing lives forever. When the results came, the world tilted. A match. The letters on the report said the boy under the street lamp was their child. Joy hit them like a wave. Relief, raw and filthy, mixed with a new flood of questions. How? Where had he been all this time? Why didn't anyone tell them? The mother collapsed, hard, on the kitchen tile and sobbed like someone who hadn't had permission to cry for 5 years. The father felt a different pain, guilt. He kept going back to things he could have changed. The missed phone call, the bargain on a deal that kept him late that night, the small negligence that let their son walk into a crowd and disappear. They dug and they dug. The truth came out ugly. The father's enemy had ordered the snatch. It was punishment. He had been furious after the father refused a merger that would have stiffed him. So he hired people to take the boy at the festival and hide him in a chain of safe houses. It was cruel and calculated, meant to scare the father into a corner, to make him bleed in private. The rival treated a child like a bargaining chip. The parents felt sick with anger. The world told them they could crush the rival with lawsuits, ruin his company, ruin his life. They had the means, but they thought of their son first. The lawyers whispered about revenge, and the tabloids smelled a scandal. The father sat in a quiet room and thought, what would revenge do to this kid? Would dragging him through courts and cameras heal that small, frozen part of him? He realized revenge would feed the story the rival wanted. It would let the rival win again by keeping the pain alive. So they chose something no one expected. Instead of using every legal arrow they had, the father walked into the rival's office. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He told the man what he felt, raw, blunt, that what he did was wrong and unforgivable, but that continuing the fight would only drag their son deeper into the wreckage. He offered one thing. He would not make the boy relive everything in public. He would forgive the rival in a small, private way, not because the rival deserved it, but because their family needed peace. The rival did not react well. He had wanted to break them, not see a man choose mercy. The father's decision quieted the war. Without the scandal and the revenge, the rival lost the stage he wanted. His threat stopped. He kept his money, but he lost the moment of power he craved. Homecoming was not a movie moment. The kid came into a big house that felt too clean, too quiet. He glared at the chandeliers and called the maid names. He slammed doors. He ate fast and left food half finished. But the parents didn't make any dramatic speeches. They started small. Pancakes at midnight. An old stuffed dinosaur returned to his shelf. A loud, stupid cartoon at 2 in the morning. They hired a counselor who came to the house, not a hospital. They gave him space and rules that made sense and stuck to them. They didn't gush. They didn't force affection. They offered steady things, safety, routine, patience. Slowly, he softened. He let someone tuck him in without flinching. He laughed at a bad joke. He asked about a zoo he remembered and was surprised to find his parents could answer. He told the truth about the nights he spent cold, about the people who tried to use him, about the hunger that never really left even when he ate. He said it blunt, sometimes ugly. They listened. They said sorry for not being there. They didn't make excuses. Forgiveness didn't erase the past. The rival's crime remained a stain, but the choice to refuse public revenge changed the shape of their future. The family built trust where it had been burned. The father stopped measuring everything by the next quarter's profit. He measured it now by the number of meals they ate together, by the nights their son slept without nightmares, by the days he didn't flinch when someone reached out. On a late summer night years after the rain, the family sat on their porch. The boy, now taller, less fierce, laughed at something small and stupid. The mother's face had lines around her eyes that came from crying and smiling. The father held both of them, not as a trophy, but as something fragile he would never let another person use against him. They had lost a piece of time no money could buy back, and that hurt would always live in them. But they chose to build a life that let the hurt make them kinder, not colder. They learned that forgiveness could be a kind of strength. It didn't mean forgetting. It didn't mean the rival was free of guilt. It just meant they refused to let their anger shape their child's life again. That decision, small and stubborn, became the thing that healed them.